Custom collections are one of the most powerful tools a wedding photographer can use to increase bookings, raise prices, and make clients feel seen, supported, and valued. But here's the catch. Most wedding photographers build packages the wrong way, or they avoid custom collections altogether because they think it's complicated, time-consuming, or confusing. In today's video, I'm giving you a high-level, structured look at how I use custom collections in my own wedding photography business, and how you can start using them to boost your conversions without lowering your prices. But first, hi, if you're new here, my name's Nicole Lauren. I'm a wedding photographer and attorney here in South Carolina. So glad that you're here. If you stumbled on the channel for the first time, welcome. I would love it if you would hit subscribe down below, leave me a thumbs up and a comment about what resonated with you in this video. We're gonna get right into the meat of today's topic because I don't hold anything back over on this channel. This is the exact framework that I teach inside of my Photography Business Mastermind, which is my high-level coaching program for photographers. And if you're interested in that program, head over to the link in the description to learn more, or send me a DM. You can just say the word coach over on Instagram and we can chat further about if enrollment is currently open and if it's the next right fit for your business. In the near future, I also have plans to turn my custom collections process into some type of masterclass. So if that's available at the time that you're seeing this video, you'll also see a link down below this video to snag that if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get into the video. When I talk to most photographers that I coach, a lot of them think that custom collections just means having to spend a lot more time on the front end before actually booking a client. In reality though, custom collections mean more bookings, easier yeses, and higher revenue when done correctly. So here's why I personally have switched over to using custom collections in my wedding photography business. It made a huge difference in my business last year in 2025, and I'm convinced that if you're a photographer as well, I think you should be implementing custom collections too. First, custom collections eliminate price shopping. Second, they create an emotional buy-in. Third, they turn your clients into collaborators. And fourth, they help you maintain higher pricing without the resistance. You've probably heard some version of this before, but it's not about offering everything. It's about offering something that's aligned. Okay, next, let's talk about what most photographers do wrong when it comes to pricing and packages, specifically wedding photographers. I see this a lot. First of all, sending a giant PDF. Okay, pricing PDFs are a thing of the past. I am convinced that you do not need to be sending those in your business for a few reasons. First of all, your pricing is probably changing constantly, and you don't want a client to hold on to a previous pricing PDF when they're referring other clients to you. That's just going to lead to a lot of heartbreak in the end. Second, when you send a pricing PDF, it's probably offering way too many choices. There's probably multiple packages, multiple a la carte options, and you're just kind of giving your client decision fatigue, and they're probably not going to choose any of them if they're too confused or having to decide from too many options from the pricing PDF. And third, and this one is a little bit niche, but having a pricing PDF is actually harming your SEO. What I mean by this is if you have a pricing guide that's actually on a website page that's hidden for people to see, then you're actually increasing your SEO because you're driving traffic to your website instead of a PDF that you're sending in an email. Plus, not to mention how much easier it is to update a website page than a clunky PDF that you're gonna have to resave time and time again. The next thing photographers do wrong is that they price for hours instead of value. I tell my girls this all the time in the coaching program. Your price isn't the least important thing about you. In fact, I want you to make sure that that's the thing that you talk about the least. You only talk about price when someone asks you about it. Obviously, it is a consideration, but it doesn't have to be the most important thing. The flag that you're flying all over your website, your inquiry process does not need to be pricing. Another mistake that I see a lot of photographers making when it comes to pricing packages is using them as strict and rigid instead of more flexible tools in your business. I want you to stop, put away all the methods of the past, and ditch the generic pricing for your clients. Trust me, they will thank you later. This is not all just about increasing the bottom line, although I think a direct benefit of using custom collections is increasing your booking average for sure, but it's also about meeting your clients where they're at, understanding, listening to them, and actually meeting their needs better than the competition that they're probably also talking to. So let's break down my approach. The way I see it, there's two ways that you can do custom collections, and I've done both, and sometimes I change back and forth based on my goals for the season or what booking trends are looking like. One way that you can do custom collections is having someone fill out your inquiry contact form. Then in your initial inquiry email, you send over a average or starting price for them to kind of be aware of. Let me preface this by saying I'm primarily a wedding photographer. So if you have a different niche, I think custom collections would probably work for you, especially if you're a senior photographer or a brand photographer. But you might have to tweak a few things in my process if you're not primarily booking weddings. Once you get on the consult call with them, you walk through your experience, you ask very emotion-driven questions, and you don't really talk about price because that's really not the most important important thing about you. If asked, you can share about your process, how you put together custom collections for your couples, and make sure that they know that they're being fully taken care of with your process. After you're done with the call, you send them to a secret website page on your platform. I use Show It, and if you want to try out Show It for 1 month for free, I'll leave the link for my affiliate code down below. On that page, you're going to have a lot of information for them to look over, and if you want the full breakdown of what I include on my custom collections pages, make sure to snag either a spot in my mastermind program or a spot in the Custom Collections Masterclass. If it's available, there will be a link down in the description. So I send them that custom collections page. It's a secret page on my Show It site, and on that page, I have one customized package based on their needs, based on my average starting price, and including all the add-ons that they were interested in. This first method streamlines the process because first of all, it shows my client that I'm the expert and I know what they need better than anyone else. Second, giving them one collection is so easy, so it eliminates confusion and decision fatigue. Finally, positioning this custom collection after the consult call hopefully comes on the tail end of you building rapport with the client, so they're more inclined to book at this point. Now, a little pause for a little PS here. You can use multiple collections on the back end as well. Sometimes I shift back and forth between offering one collection versus 4 collections, that kind of thing. Custom collections doesn't mean that you have to just stick to one collection. If you like offering 4 different options for them to choose from, I usually like to say 4. That's something that my coach actually told me to do, and I really enjoy it because you're still giving them highly customized collections to choose from, but they still have that feeling of ownership and autonomy when they do have multiple to choose from. Okay, now that we covered method number 1, let's move on to method number 2. Method number 2 is primarily for a season where you feel like you don't have a lot of time for consult calls that are not aligned. This method is highly focused on making sure that the client is a very qualified lead before they get on a phone call with you. Method number 2 starts the same way. They fill out the contact form on your site and send in their inquiry. You reply back with an email with your starting price, but instead of asking for a consult call directly, you send them to another form that's very in-depth and detailed. On this form, you have questions that you ask typically in a consult call, but instead you ask for their answers on a form. I find that if clients make it through the contact form, the inquiry email, and the additional application type form, they are a highly qualified and red hot lead. I'm not going to go through the exact questions I ask on that application form. If you want more about that, you're going to have to join my mastermind, link down below, or the masterclass if it's available, link down below as well. But basically the questions that I ask on the forum are the same types of questions I would ask on a regular consult call that are very informational, asking about the details of their wedding and their plans. After they fill out that form, I go into the custom collections process, put together their custom page with either 1 or 4 collections to choose from, and then send it to them for review, and they can book on the spot without a call, or if they want to get on a call at that point, they can. And those calls tend to be a lot shorter. Now that you know the 2 different methods for custom collections, let's talk a little bit more about the how. When it comes to custom collections, no matter how you do it, you're going to start off with identifying the couple's needs. Talk about their priorities, their non-negotiables. Build up from their dream day, not down from your base rate. This is super important. And always make sure that you're anchoring to value before you discuss logistics. Above all, keep everything simple, clear, and customized. After all, one of the biggest reasons why photographers aren't booking their ideal clients is because they're presenting their offer either too early or too generically. Custom collections solves both of those problems. I hope this video was helpful. If you've considered doing custom collections in your own business, I'd love for you to drop a comment down below and share. If you have any questions about the process, or if you're interested in learning more about my exact framework and process for custom collections, head over to Instagram, send me a DM. You can DM me the word coach, and we can get started chatting about custom collections in your business and whether it would be a good next step for you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video with another training for photographers.